What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be looking at a series between Strelok and ESC Jaxx. We're in the map Antigua Shipyard, spawning in the upper left-hand spawn position. Our red Terran player is Strelok. And then down over here in the upper right-hand spawn location, the green Protoss player ESC Jaxx. Sticking with my recent attempt to fill the early game dull with some player information, let's go ahead and give you guys some info on both players. ESC Jaxx, European ladder player, currently rank 95 Grandmaster in his 1v1 ladder. Back over here for Strelok, he is actually rank 7 Masters in 1v1. So it is a Grandmaster versus a Master, but as I mentioned in the last game that I gave some player stats, keep in mind that many pro players don't spend a lot of time on the ladder, and they spend much more time actually playing with their teammates, essentially. So it is not necessarily indicative of the outcome just because Strelok is a Masters player and ESC Jaxx is a Grandmasters player. It doesn't guarantee a win one way or the other. ESC Jaxx now moving out with his scouting probe, will be coming down with some SCV harass. Strelok is quick to meet that probe with his SCV and force him away, and actually gets an extra shot off. A lot of times the probe will get away before he loses anything more than his shield, but Jaxx was just a little bit late on that response, and as a result it took some, I'll call it structural damage or base damage or whatever the heck you want to call it. He's going to turn around and engage this SCV. Let's see if he gets it away in time this time. Yes, he does. However, he gets another shot taken there, and again, just a little bit of miss micro puts his probe in a little bit of danger, but I expect him to be out in time. Wow, in the Ren now. Why'd he go back in, you ask? Well, he loses it, and look at that. Just because Jaxx is Grandmaster doesn't make him impervious to mistakes. Losing a scouting worker to SCVs, that shouldn't happen. Strelok, the reason he went back in though, Jaxx went back in to see if there was a refinery, and as we can see, Strelok has not come out with a refinery at all. What does this mean? Well, it means he will be going a 1-Rax expand. So very early expansion is what we'll be seeing from him. In addition to that, we should expect a bunker that could very well be placed down here. It could also be up here, though. It's probably going to be in one of these two spots, either right here in front of the ramp or somewhere near that expansion. But either way, there will be a bunker coming out to house those Marines and provide him with some early game defenses. He will be pretty vulnerable going for this very early expo. And again, Jaxx got that second scout when he saw the lack of the gas when there should very well be one, so he knows what's coming up, he knows what he's up against, and we'll see what he decides to respond with. Strelok just kind of chilling out here inside of the main, not really seeing too much. The only real big giveaway right now is that there isn't a second gas here. But still, this is all pretty standard. Protoss builds are almost always the same opening. And he does actually manage to make it on down to that natural and spot out that Nexus there. So Jaxx not afraid to show that he's expanding. Again, he knows that Strelok is fast expanding. So no big surprises there from either player here in the early stage. They both know exactly what the heck is going on. So we got three racks coming on through. In addition to that, double refineries getting laid down. He will be able to work his way up to stim pack upgrade very, very soon. I'm sure he's also looking forward to getting up that factory in Starport to start getting out those medevacs. Going to expect that bio build here from Strelok this game. Marine Marauder medevac is what we're likely to see. And then also throwing in some Vikings and Ghost into the mid or late game is very likely as well. And that's basically PvT, my friends. In terms of the Protoss player, he really has a couple of options. You're either going to see like Charge Zealot, Archon, High Templar composition, or you're going to see Colossus and then throwing in Charge Zealots in there as well. But either way, it's likely to see both. To be quite frank with you, it's usually like he opens up with one or the other and then transitions into the other one and then kind of sits with a mix. That's a lot of times what the Protoss players will end up doing in this matchup. And it works very well because what'll happen is, say you go straight Colossus, your Terran opponent responds with Vikings, and once they're Viking heavy, you switch to High Templar and Archons, and all of a sudden the Terran opponent has a lot of Vikings that don't do a heck of a lot, especially if you kind of go away from that Colossus switch there. And then on the flip side of that, if you go High Templar first and your opponent goes Ghost heavy, you switch into Colossus. Sure, the Ghost can still EMP, but they are not nearly that strong against Colossus at all. So that's basically the layout, and besides that, you just have to be concerned about your expansions and harassing your opponent's economy and all that kind of jazz. And right now, not a whole lot coming down from either player. Map control there of the Xel'Naga Tower going to Jaxx, and he is also scouting out the front of the main base here for Strelok with the Stalker just to see when and if any push does come from his opponent. Sentry heavy opening here we're seeing from Jaxx, and that pretty much makes a lot of sense. It's what you usually see with those fast expand builds, because those sentries, they provide you the early necessary defense just in case your opponent pushes. You'll have enough energy to be able to drop a few force fields as long as you stay relatively sentry heavy. So we're going to be seeing those upgrades come on through. Stim-Pack and Combat Shield also starting to produce a bunch of Marauders there out of those racks. And another Ghost Academy, I'm sorry. I thought that was a Refinery for a second. It is a Ghost Academy coming out. It's open up with very early Ghosts. What is this going to mean? Well, it does mean that he won't have Medivacs anytime soon, as he'll be dumping out some Vespene into churning out some Ghost early on. But this also means that we're going to expect an early push from Strelok. Deciding to go Ghost very early on means he is going to plan on doing a timing push, trying to land some clutch EMPs and just do a ton of damage. We'll have to see how successful that is. We do have a proxy pylon here for Jaxx, as he is prepared to push out and start doing some damage. We also do have a robotics facility coming on through, sitting on 3 gateways and 1 robo at the moment. So shouldn't be doing too much damage, but we'll see how he ends up doing in this push. I don't think this is anything that Strelok is even remotely aware that is coming. And here we go, Guardian Shield gets laid down, dropping some force fields. Beautiful placement, allowing the Zealots to get up. But there's a lot of damage coming from the backside there, plus that bunker. And all the Zealots get worked through, and that is not looking good right now. So the Protoss army is pushed back. I do not know if that was the wisest decision. That timing push just really didn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't see that very often. Off of 3 gateways, also trying to work through a robo, but trying to push out. I think he was probably trying to hit Strelok before he worked up into that higher tech. Unfortunately, though, we already have some Ghost in play. And Strelok is prepared now for this counter-aggression. Pylon's still over here, so we should be seeing that come into play later in the game. But Strelok, he is ready to push, and let's see what he can do. We do have 2 sentries. We'll be trying to lay down some force fields. EMP misses both sentries. Force fields didn't do too much, as most of the force is still up on the high ground. Another EMP gets dropped. Still, though, Jaxx able to do a bunch of damage. Now, the one thing those force fields did do is prevent that kiting and the pushback there. You know, Stim-Pack, Marine, Marauder kind of pulling back, but there were also not a lot of Zealots. That's why I said it didn't really do too much. A lot of times those force field walls will be specifically to let your Zealots get up close, but he was pretty much sitting ranged heavy. Either way, though, great defense there by Jaxx. Counterattack of Strelok didn't do too much damage. In fact, losing those Ghosts really hurt him. And you can see right now they're about even in terms of resources lost. Had Strelok not counterattacked, he would have been pretty significantly ahead. Losing those Ghosts plus the rest of his bio there definitely really hurt him quite a bit. Got a starport coming out, reactor coming through on the factory. So we'll be making that transition into Ghost right now. At the same time, a 3rd base coming on through for Strelok. And it does also look like Jaxx is preparing a 3rd himself. And let's see what that opener is. Yes, it is going to be Colossus here from Jaxx. Thermal Lance, as well as the first Colossus making its way on through. And there you go. We'll just be sticking Gateway Heavy, throwing in some Colossus, and that will be likely his first push. Once he gets a sizable amount of Colossus, expect him to move out with that Strelok. As soon as he scouts out those Colossus, though, he should be working his way up into some Vikings. Let's see if he's seen anything yet. I don't know if there's been a scan or anything. No, he's not scanned the main anytime soon, so anytime recently is what I mean to say. And yeah, so right now doesn't know, so should just be coming out with Medivacs, and probably could quite possibly be planning to do some drops. It isn't absolutely 100% necessary, but it is an option for him. And Jaxx actually still not laying down that 3rd. He's holding off for quite a while, and instead of getting that 3rd early on, decides to drop an additional 3 gateways. So that will put him at 6 gateways plus the robotics. And I think with that, he might be planning a 2-base push. And here it comes, moving out right now. Jaxx is prepared to be aggressive. He got those 3 additional gateways. We'll be turning those into warp gates right away. And here it comes. Yes, a 2-base push here with 6 gates and a robo churning out Colossus. Now he's already got 1 Colossus and 2 Colossus in play, and that 3rd one's almost done. And a Strelok right now with that scouting factory, and he was about to actually plan a drop, but we just heard them get dropped down because he realizes this push is coming, trying to come out with an additional bunker to defend himself. We got Ghosts that are going to push forward and try to land some EMPs before this engagement takes place. He wants to hit Jaxx as he prepares to push on up. Now Jaxx could also break down those rocks and try to move up here. And that certainly wouldn't be the worst of ideas. Colossus going first, forcing those Ghosts back. Very nice play there by Jaxx, actually. No Vikings yet, but 2 just about to pop, and he's got 2 more coming out right after that as well. Does he have 2 starports in play? I think he does, actually. Where's the other one? There it is. Yeah, he's got 2 starports in play. One with the reactor and one without. Here it comes, though. EMPs get laid down. Guardian Shield is up. Colossus pushing forward, trying to do as much damage as possible. Get Stalkers in the background attacking the factory. That's not what they want to be doing. Those Colossus doing quite a number on that bio, but the Medevac's healing up, and there's still a little bit of bio left. It's getting worked through those. The 3 Colossus are still alive. Vikings unable to deal with them. And oh no, Jaxx in a strong spot right now. He's going to continue pushing. More Vikings coming out, but it doesn't really matter because there are enough Stalkers to snipe them out of the sky very quickly. SCV's trying to pull down to engage with this. They just get roasted though by the Colossus. Jaxx should push on this expansion right now. It's going to be probably his best idea at this point. Away from the production facilities of Strelok and able to do a lot of economic damage. It looks like though Jaxx wants to try to end it here as he continues to push on the natural expansion. Vikings doing what they can. Stalkers target fire down the last of them, and still 3 Colossus in play, and Jaxx has secured a victory. Strelok really can't come back from this. He doesn't have a drop, any sort of counter harass going on at all, and he is defending himself, but just barely. Gonna be down to 2 Colossus as the Vikings snipes out that one. Taking a look at the resources lost. You can see Strelok quite a bit behind. Take a look at this though. 23 workers killed, and that number is gonna keep going up. A couple of stim bio units pushing on down, but again, not gonna really matter. We got some more Stalkers down here. We got reinforcements will be coming from that pylon very shortly. Remember, we do have 6 gateways. 2 forges coming out. Jaxx is also dropping a 3rd base at the same time. He just wants to continue to add to this huge advantage that he has right now. 26 workers killed, resources lost. Strelok so far behind. SCV's coming down, and oh no, his number's gonna keep climbing. Unbelievable. 41 workers killed. Gets another Colossus. This one is very close to being taken out, but those Marines aren't going to be enough. There's some more Marauders coming out. The economy right now for Strelok is just absolutely terrible, though. Jaxx is going pretty strong. He's actually got some heavy muling going on down there. That's why he has so many minerals being gathered. And Colossus gets taken out. We still got a bunch of Stalkers, and look at this. He's just going to go straight for the Expo. That should force the GG right there. Strelok coming out with a few more units. He's got some Vikings coming out through. Stalkers going down, killing off as much as they can. No mining at all right now from Strelok. Strelok's got, what, a couple of guys over here or something? Got like a mule chilling out over there. It doesn't matter. Game's over. Very nice push there by Jaxx. That Protoss army did very well. Strelok's still hanging on, but again, it doesn't really matter just because Jaxx is at such a significant advantage. Again, he's been unhindered for the longest time. And Strelok, you know, he's hanging on. He's doing what he can, being a cool guy, but yeah, it's too far gone at this point. Resource-wise, he's way too far behind. He's lost 56 workers. That is just killer. Income, Jaxx, see the advantage. Got some Zealots pushing forward here, forcing all that bio to pull on back, and Jaxx really just needs to pull back now for the moment. Just chill out, go back home, take it easy. Continue to work up. He's got 1-1 upgrades, very close to finish. Got a Colossus here, another Colossus coming out. We're going to actually see Strelok attempt a counterattack. I don't expect this to go too well, though. Twilight Council is up. We'll be researching that charge upgrade for those Zealots. And Strelok is pushing out, working his way to resaturate the expansion. He also should probably, there we go, landing that down. He's just focused on saturation right now, not even too concerned about this 3rd yet. Right now we're going to see Strelok push on up to the 3rd of Jaxx, and he can snipe that quickly, but here come the Zealots plus the Colossus, and actually forcing them back here. Jaxx able to defend. There it is. Strelok just lost all of his forces. Take a quick look at the army tab. He's got like nothing left, although Jaxx is still pretty small. Again, the biggest thing is the huge economy discrepancy. Jaxx is, although he's got about the same size army at the moment, it's not going to be that way for long. Production-wise, there's just so much more going on right now for Jaxx with all the upgrades and everything, and actually that's something I do want to take a look at. Just 0-1 right now for Strelok. He can't afford to continue up upgrades, go for armor or anything like that. Too focused on just building up his SCV counts and continuing to pump out units. He can't really be concerned at the moment, at least, with trying to come out with some upgrades. Another attempted push coming out here from Strelok. Jaxx is prepared to meet it, though. Moves down. Bit of miss micro. Loses his Colossus. That's a big mistake, actually. But he's still going to be able to overwhelm Strelok here. He just has way too many forces. This is where the income advantage really starts to come through. And there it is, Strelok calling the GG. Although his first push wasn't that successful, Jaxx's second push won him the game, moving out with 3 Colossus and unfortunately 4 Strelok. It was just before he had Vikings in play, and this allowed Jaxx to just tear through his bio and pretty much secure the victory from that point. Jaxx just got such a tremendous advantage from that point forward. They managed to kill off a ton of Strelok's workers, and then led to the victory. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. This was the first game here between Jaxx and Strelok. We'll be moving on to game number 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching, keep owning.